Where do I even start? The past few weeks have been so much fun testing this new Insta360 X4. And while I must admit I'm not the most adventurous person out there, and to tell you the truth, I only learned to ride a bike a couple of years ago and I'm still working on my skateboarding skills, but thanks to a few friends and a few strangers, I've managed to get some insane footage. Because whether you're strapping it to your motorbike, mounting it on your car, leaping out of a plane, pulling off some sick tricks, or just going out for a nice relaxing walk with the X4 mounted to a 10-foot pole, this thing is all about giving you more creative options. I mean, as it says on the tin, the X4, this is the 5th generation of Insta360's 360 camera. They make a whole bunch of other products, including action cameras, dedicated action cameras, but the whole point of this is that you have 2 lenses and it records everything. What's the one thing we've all wanted on the Insta360? Any action camera really, but particularly the X4, which introduced 8K last year. It's a bigger sensor, right? That's what we've got. The X4's 1/1.28-inch sensor is 144% bigger than the previous X4 and the X3, capturing a lot more light, making shots like this, which would just be impossible without a drone, which is definitely not allowed here in central London, look even better. Or in tricky lighting or at night. The bigger sensor, combined with this new triple AI chip and the ability to shoot in this pure video mode, even at the maximum 8K resolution, it means that while normally I would never have felt comfortable shooting in lower light or at night like this, now it looks pretty good. I can use this. The X4 gives us 140% more computing power, which helps improve the dynamic range, the real-time low light performance, and overall image quality. I mean, just look at the difference. This is shot in 8K on both, but with the X4 in that new pure video mode and with a bigger sensor and the new chip, and it is basically a night and day difference. And taking it for a little night drive, yes, of course the quality will still be better in the daytime with good lighting, but for action cameras, for 360 cameras, this just hasn't been possible before. The X4 can also now record in this active HDR mode at up to 5.7K 60 FPS, previously topped out at 30, so for very bright or contrasty conditions, I've got the bright sun here, lots of shadows, it helps give you a more even exposure and also a more vibrant shot. And shooting in active HDR also now gives you the option to record in iLog, where you can apply your own LUTs afterwards for more color grading options in post. In video mode, just swipe left and then tap on iLog to turn on the color profile. It is only available when shooting in 360 active HDR video though, and sadly not at 8K, but 5.7K 60 active HDR iLog still makes Sylvie the cat here look very cute. We also get this new Instaframe mode, which lets you capture both a 1080p flat video, whether it's vertical or horizontal, while also recording in full 360, which means you have a video that's ready to share straight away, and also the option of reframing that 360 clip. Also good news if, well, this happens to you, because the lenses are now twice as impact resistant, but if you do happen to damage the lens, you can now buy a replaceable lens kit from Insta360. Because even with cases and covers and lens guards, you know, some people are going to find ways to break things, myself included. So being able to easily replace the lens, it literally took me 2 minutes, and then running a quick stitching calibration on the X4, you're good as new. The X4 is also 50% more water resistant without using a dive case. You can now take it down to 15 meters or 49 feet, which is 50% more than the X4. Just make sure all the compartments are firmly closed. We also have the fantastic Insta360 Studio for all your reframing and editing tools, plus the handy mobile app for quick edits or even fancy AI edits, plus you can use your phone as a remote control for the X4. But let's back up. What is the point of being able to record in 360 and also at up to 8K resolution? The whole point of this, as it says on the tin, is it captures in 360 degrees, which means you can reformat afterwards for landscape, for vertical, you can capture my face or what's above, below, left, right, forward. So it's ideal if you're shooting by yourself, or you just want some unique perspectives for your B-roll shots, or maybe even if you don't know what you want to film and just therefore want to capture everything and figure it out afterwards. That's the flexibility you get with this. You can reframe, crop, and pick your aspect ratio all after the fact. Now, the jump to 8K with last year's X4 doesn't mean that you're going to export and share 8K files, because they would be huge. The whole point of this high resolution, and in fact it's super sampling from 11K, but let's not get too technical, recording in 8K means you've got more resolution to play with when you're cropping and reframing. The trade-off is 8K is still limited to 30 FPS, it drains the battery quicker and also can heat things up a little bit, so you'll want good airflow and also plenty of light for shooting at 8K. For lower light situations, make sure you're shooting in the pure video mode. I want to show you the difference between the new X5 and the previous X4 with that smaller sensor. And starting in my car here, just for an interior shot, which I know a lot of people like to use, especially car journalists. And while there isn't a drastic difference, the X5 is noticeably less noisy, although it also seems like they've toned down the sharpness a little bit. But here in Trafalgar Square, you can see the X5 handles the bright exposure better, and also at the top with the blue sky, it is a lot noisier on the X4. Design-wise, not much has changed. It is still very much a little sort of rectangular chocolate bar, which is, as you saw, very pocketable. It's really very small, this, and it's actually quite impressive given that you've got two lenses and the amount of modes and options, and a screw mount on the bottom, and a swappable battery, micro SD card slot, and the USB-C port for charging or taking your data off if you don't fancy taking out your micro SD. And of course, this nice big screen for panning around for a little preview of what the camera can see. You've got a shutter button down here to start recording or take a photo. You've also got gesture and voice control. Then you've got the different mode options. You can switch between 360 and single lens shooting, different resolutions, frame rates. If you've used one of these before, it'll all be very familiar. The backside does have a slightly new design, but it's not a massive overhaul. We also have this new wind guard at the back, and it does actually seem to make a difference. Just listen to this. Ooh, it is blowing a gale up here. I'm recording this with the X4 and the X5 with the aggressive, the enhanced wind reduction mode. Which one sounds better? Because there is a new wind guard, I think it is, on the X5. This is Glastonbury Tour. I'm recording this at 8K 30, just at arm's length. I'm literally holding it in front of me. In terms of audio and video, I'm looking at the screens. You guys are going to tell me which one looks better and which sounds better. So I've had the X5 now for a few weeks by the time you're watching this, and I've tested it in a whole bunch of different ways, but I've barely scratched the surface for how creative you can get with this. And actually, it's a little bit frustrating sometimes because I scroll through Instagram, I see the Insta360 ads, and there's these beautiful, cool people doing some crazy things, doing cliff diving and back jumps with their skis and snowboards. I'm definitely not that cool, and I can barely ride a bike. Kind of a cliche to say, but really you are limited only by your own creativity. For 360, you've got video, your normal everyday 360 video, and this is where you have the most options for resolution and frame rate. We have their flow state stabilization, of course, and you can switch between different field of views like ultra, D-warp, which I think is my favorite, and also linear. This is the mode I shoot in most of the time, but if you're in low light, I'd suggest you switch over to the pure video mode and perhaps shoot in 5.7K 30. Instaframe, as I say, captures both 360 and a flat video at the same time, so you've got two options. Time lapses are great for static shots, but then you've got time shift where you move, creating a really cool hyperlapse effect. Bullet time's always going to get you a few looks if you do this in public, and actually this bullet time selfie stick isn't that much bigger than the regular invisible selfie stick and can still be extended out, but with this you can twist to loosen it and then bring it to either a 65 or a 90-degree angle, which you can then, I don't know, fling above your head or to your side, giving you that really unique Matrix-style bullet time perspective. Road mode lets you use it like a dash cam, and it will continually record and then eventually overwrite earlier files, so you can keep this going all day long as it has charge. Star lapse, interval, burst mode, and also regular photo mode, where you can shoot up to 72 megapixel full resolution shots. Now this is saved in Insta360's pure shot mode by default, but I would suggest changing the settings to pure shot and raw, because then it gives you more options for editing afterwards. But then if we switch from 360 to single lens, you've got pretty similar options captured just from a single lens, but with video mode, you can shoot in either 16:9 or 9:16, horizontal or vertical. But because this is shooting from just one lens, so it's a regular flat video, if you will, it tops out at 4K 60. Then you've got free frame video, which shoots an uncropped square, and then you can change the aspect ratio afterwards. And of course, you still get the flow state stabilization and also the horizon lock. Me mode is always fun. This captures a wide-angle video of you, well, me, as I'm holding the invisible selfie stick, and also you've got auto reframing options. Then you've got loop recording, which will just keep on recording until you press stop, and then saves only the last fixed length recording, like the last 5 or 10 minutes, for example. Now, just a few quick shooting tips if you do pick one of these up. If you are going to shoot at 8K or maybe 5.7K 60 or 4K 120, that is obviously going to burn through the battery faster, but you can keep it topped up via the USB-C port if you've got access to power or maybe a power bank with you, and also you're still good for at least an hour even in 8K. Also, make sure the micro SD card you're using is fast enough. Look for UHS 1 and also V30 is recommended, but V60 or higher will guarantee smooth recording and that you don't have any issues. Also, if you swipe down and then go into the settings menu, swipe down and then tap on image settings, then make sure bitrate is set to high. Also, you might want to set video sharpness to medium or low. And you've got loads of other options here, including Bluetooth connections, gesture support, and also turning on AI Highlights Assistant. This can automatically pinpoint the best bits, so if you have a really long clip, you can just jump ahead to the highlights. Oh, and also clean the lenses, like all the time. Bring along a microfiber cloth and ideally use one of Insta360's premium lens guards. You can just buy the X5 by itself, or you can get the Creator Bundle kit, but don't go overboard at once. You know, get the camera, maybe the invisible selfie stick, because that's what I use most, and then expand your arsenal from there. I think my favorite accessory, though, is their 3-meter selfie stick. It easily fits in your backpack and can give you these really iconic drone-like shots. And of course, it's much safer and cheaper, and also, most importantly, legal to use compared to a drone. Now, if you haven't used the Insta360 app for a while, then you'll notice there's been some pretty major upgrades. For example, it's now really easy to set the perspective in a 360 clip with a single tap. You don't have to manually reframe, so you can now choose from 3 default viewing options. You've got forward view, which locks the angle straight ahead. You've got selfie view, which keeps the main subject, probably yourself, in frame. But then you've also got AI view, which automatically selects the best angles throughout the whole video using AI. So you shoot your video, open it in the app, and then with a single tap you can set the perspective and then simply export it and it's ready to share. Although for more advanced users, if you're pretty familiar with 360 editing, you can now make precise edits by setting the keyframes to fine-tune the camera movements and then keep reframing throughout the video. In the past, you'd have to use their desktop studio app to do this. Although, for the highest quality 4K ProRes exports and a few more advanced options, I still like to use the Desktop Studio app. But the point is, this can be as easy or as in-depth as you like. And so altogether, 8K, bigger sensor, tons of modes to play with, the Insta360 X5 is by far the most versatile camera you can buy. And if you do fancy picking up a new X5, then make sure you use my link in the description below, as the first 20 orders will get an extra free replaceable lens kit as a special gift. And if you do pick up a new X5, how are you going to use it? What's the first thing you're going to shoot? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I'll see you next time right here on the Tech Chat.